mujeres. So we're going to switch back to English because we have Wei Lin. She's the Vice President of Marketing Intelligence for Kelley Blue Book. How are you, Wei?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Javier. How are you?
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you for taking the time. I know you were very busy presenting this new study from Kelley Blue Book about how the challenges that some women confront when they go and buy a new car, right? That's something that very recently was done by Kelley Blue Book.
That is correct. Yes, we're finding that women actually are taking longer to shop for cars than men are.
But longer in what terms? In like making the decision, or longer at the actual process of buying the car?
The whole process. So men are taking the median number of days is 63 days, and women are taking 75 days. So it's an additional 12 days.
Yeah. And what are the factors that cause this?
Well, so here's what's really funny. So men tell us that they're very confident when shopping for a car. In fact, 59% of men say they're very confident when shopping for a car. Now, only 38% of women feel confident shopping for a car. They actually feel pretty intimidated by the whole process.
And
men also tell us...
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, men also tell us that they're knowledgeable. 2/3 of men say they're knowledgeable. Women say they're not knowledgeable. So what happens is because men feel much more knowledgeable and women don't, women try to make up for it by doing more research.
Oh, okay. And I recently read a study that even though there's like so much information available on the internet, especially like sites like Kelley Blue Book, at some point it can be overwhelming, because I think in this study in particular that I read about, it mentioned that there were like people were visiting like 18 different sites before making a decision, which might sound like a good idea, but then after all, it's like too much information to digest, no?
Yes, that is a lot of information, but women actually do have a clear idea of how to approach the shopping process. What men are telling us is they have a clear idea. They know which car they're going to buy. They know what brand. Women say, they don't really know which brand, but what they do know is they know which benefits they want or which features they want. So, for example, they're thinking, I need a third row seat, or I need enough space to put my car seats in there, or, the family pet needs to be able to fit into the car. So they know exactly which features and benefits they need.
Yeah, and more than like brands or particular models. It's very interesting that you mentioned that, because in our next segment, I want to talk to a friend of mine from New York who just bought her new car, the first time ever in her life. And the deciding factor was that her teenage son, it's been growing a lot in the past couple of years, and the only factor important for her is that he fits in the back seat. So it doesn't matter the brand or anything else.
That's exactly how women look at it. Yeah. So, the other thing that we found is men view their cars as an extension of themselves. It's like an image thing, right? So the car reflects their image, their accomplishments in life. But women, not so much. They don't really care so much about things like that. What they do care about is how they're going to get from point A to point B.
Yeah.
So their car is really for utilitarian or practical purposes.
And also, even that this particular study says that the women take more time to do the whole process, that's because women actually make the final decision in most households, right?
Well, that's really funny that you say that. So we asked men, we said, okay, well, actually what we did was we asked a question of both men and women, especially married ones.
Yeah.
And we said, okay, are you going to be the primary decision maker, right? And men said, oh, yes. 2/3 of them said, I am going to be the primary decision maker. And women said, oh, no, I'm going to talk to other people and I'll share that decision. So it was really funny. I started talking to a lot of different couples to find out, well, how do you shop for a car, right?
Yeah.
Lots of interesting research. And one man in particular, he told me, he goes, oh, yes, I am the decision maker in the family. In fact, the last time I bought a car, I went in, I did the research, I went to test drive, I had all the paperwork in front of me ready to sign, and I thought, oh, I better call my wife. So he called his wife. And his wife said, no, you are not buying that car. End of discussion. So he said, well, you can tell I was clearly the main decision maker in this. So it's really funny. I think men tend to think that, yes, they are the primary decision maker. I think women are just more honest. And
Yeah.
they say, yes, I'll talk to other people.
Exactly. So it's like the old joke, right? Like man has the last word, and he usually said, "Whatever you say, honey."
That's right.
Yeah.
So that was a really interesting story. And I think it pretty well illustrates how men and women approach it. Because one of the things that we do see, women actually talk to a lot of other people. They go, for example, on KBB.com, one of the things that they do is they go and look at ratings and reviews.
Yeah.
Because they want to see what other people think about those cars and what they think about the ownership of those cars. And they go and talk to their friends in social media, and they get their opinions, and they ask for recommendations. So that's how women shop for cars in general. And I think a lot of women can relate to that to other parts of their lives as well.
Yeah.
Like going out to eat, let's go and Yelp it or something.
Yeah, you're mentioning the reviews that are posted by users on Kelley Blue Book. Have you seen a different approach in that from female buyers than from male buyers?
We have not been able to slice it. We don't actually ask the reviewers if they're male or female. So we haven't been able to see it that way. But I'd be willing to guess, because men are more image-oriented
Exactly.
and women are more practical, we could probably take a reasonable guess.
Yeah. No, I was saying, like, for example, if you will see, like, by name. I mean, it doesn't have to be that scientific. If you, like, Mike, it's posting a review on the new Mazda Miata, and then, like, Mary, it's posting a review on the same car. If you see very different opinions on the actual car, that's what I was talking about.
Oh, yes. So, here's the other thing. So when we were looking to see what's important to men and women, we saw that, well, first of all, there are some things, of course, that are going to be similar. That's just the way it is, right?
Yeah.
However, that's, of course, not as interesting as the differences. So, but to give an idea of what's important to both men and women, it's things like durability and reliability or safety, right? But for women, the practical things are much more important. So durability, reliability. One of the ones that came up as being very important to women is driving performance, which, when I first looked at it, I thought driving performance would be more important to men. But when we asked women what they thought driving performance meant, they said, well, it means reliability.
Yeah,
and men
okay.
said, right, and driving performance to men was prestige.
Yeah.
And so because of that, men and women do review cars differently, because we ask men, well, which cars are good on driving performance? And they list a lot of luxury brands,
Yeah.
right? But for women, because they're thinking reliability, they list a lot of practical, let's say, Asian imports, which women view as being much more reliable. So that's what driving performance means to women. It's the same set of words,
Yeah.
but it means very different things to men versus women.
Yeah. So at the end, I mean, there's no right or wrong here, I don't think, right? I mean, because if women are taking more time and doing their homework, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, what?
Not at all.
Exactly. I mean, like you will probably check more information and like get. If you're doing that and doing it correctly, you're getting better information. At the end result, making a better decision.
Possibly. So, someone asked me, well, by the time you get into the dealer showroom, does it mean that women are still intimidated? And my take on this is no. Women, they've done the research leading up to that point. So when they go in to make a transaction, they feel confident and knowledgeable, right? Equally confident and knowledgeable as men. So it's very interesting that, so yes, they do more research on the front end so that on the back end, when they're in the dealership, they feel more comfortable.
Okay. We're talking to Wee Lin. She's the Vice President of Market Intelligence from Kelley Blue Book. So we have a couple of more minutes in this segment. Do you have then a recommendation on how to use these amazing tools for information on Kelley Blue Book for both women and men?
Well, I think it's really important for both men and women to realize that they may not be thinking the same things, particularly for couples, They may not necessarily agree. I know that from personal experience.
Yeah.
So as long as both sides can agree on, well, for the man, if it achieves their need for, showing off their accomplishments. And for women, it achieves their need for practical aspects, providing all the features and benefits that they need. I think we'll be in a happy place.
Yeah. And is there a particular way that you recommend both women and men to research in a particular way within Kelley Blue Book, for example?
Well, on Kelley Blue Book, we do provide information that is helpful for both men and women. So women, as I mentioned, like to do a lot more research. They check out ratings and reviews. They check out a lot of pricing information. Men, what they do is they do research across the board. So not only do they look at pricing and do general research, but they're also looking at the dealerships and which dealership do I go to. And they're checking out the images of the cars much more than women do that. So all that information is available on KBB. We try and make it available for both men and women.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for your time. And is there any other tip that you can give the general public about how to make the decision for buying a car?
Well, no, have fun with the whole process. I mean, buying a car is a wonderful thing. So do your research and enjoy the process.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much again for your time, and I hope to talk to you soon again.
Thank you.
Este programa fue una producción de National Latino Broadcasting.